Good morning. My name is Beck Stow, and it is my pleasure to welcome you all to today's service of the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Lower Bucks. I am your lay leader for this morning. As a small liberal congregation, we strive to welcome everyone into our sacred space. We commit ourselves to lives centered on the message of love and acceptance of all. As we move into the spring and a period of reawakening for the earth, let us use the next hour as a time of spiritual rejuvenation. Let us listen with intention to the music and messages as they provide spiritual sustenance. Because this is a sacred time and space, let us appreciate the words and song of today with spiritual reverence instead of applause. From wherever you have joined us today, in person or on Zoom, we are glad that you are here. Our Soul Matters theme for the month of March is paying attention. Paying attention means to focus your mind on something or someone, watching or listening carefully to understand, notice details, and show interest, rather than being distracted or ignoring it, and it involves concentrating and giving thoughtful regard. It's about directing your awareness to a particular task, person, or stimulus, signaling its importance and allowing for deeper comprehension or connection. Sharon Salzberg, author and meditation pioneer, says, "We need mindfulness and kindness now more than ever. The practice of shepherding our attention back to the present, even an incalculable number of times, helps us find the power to be mindful and kind to ourselves." We are going to begin our service this morning by lighting the chalice, and I would like to invite Gil Christenberry up to light our chalice while I read our opening words. With this chalice, may we kindle the flame of our attention, not too fiery or wild, spreading without cause or care, not too dim or fading, unfocused and ineffective, but like a cheerful cook fire in a cozy hearth, like a comforting candle flickering yet steady, may our attention be befriended, directed, and sustained for the betterment of all humankind. Thank you, Gil. Our beloved musical guide, Avi Wisnia, has chosen a special piece as a prelude to our service this morning, so let us pay attention to this musical message titled "Blowing in the Wind" by Bob Dylan.
Sometimes it is hard to pay attention to the things around us, especially when things are hard, when people are suffering. And it is the condition of all humans that we keep repeating some patterns to try and figure out how to get out of suffering for ourselves or for others. And while that may seem difficult and it may seem like there are no answers to our questions, Bob Dylan reminds us that there are answers all around us all the time. It's just that the answers might be as elusive and hard to grasp as if they are blowing in the wind. So please join in and sing with me, even if you just know the refrain. The answers, my friends, are blowing in the wind. How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they are forever banned? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it is washed out to sea? How many years can some people exist before and how many times can a man turn his head, pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? How many ears must one woman have before she can hear people cry? Yes, and how many deaths will it take till they know that too many people have died? The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. The answer, my friends, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind.
Thank you, Avi. Today's speaker is Pauline Nijander. Pauline Nijander recently completed her Master of Divinity program at the Drew University Theological School, studying for the Unitarian Universalist ministry. She is a member of the UU Congregation of Princeton, where she has served in various leadership roles and is one of their 2 seminarians. As a proud trans woman and lesbian, Pauline has spoken to many different community and student groups about her life and perspective in hopes of educating people. Pauline's sermon today is titled The Ministry of Presence, with this description: be present, being present, truly present, requires more than just physically being there. In order to truly be present in the moment and to be there for one another and to do so the right way, it requires us to pay attention to the life, experiences, and stories of those around us. It is when we fully engage in the ministry of presence that we are then able to better aid those who ask for help. Please welcome Pauline Nijander with the message for all ages.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. So this morning's story for all ages is from a kid's book. Now, these are also for adults, so I highly recommend it for adults too. It's titled The Rabbit Listened, and it's by Corey Doerfield. And I know that you're kind of a little bit further back. Don't worry, I will describe the images for you. One day, Taylor decided to build something new, something special. And we see Taylor holding up blocks, and he's starting to build something with those blocks. I wonder what it can be. Something amazing, it seems. Taylor was so proud, and honestly, I probably couldn't build this, but there's a fantastic structure that Taylor was able to build with the blocks. But then, out of nowhere, we see a bunch of birds swooping down and tossing all the blocks about. Things came crashing down. And Taylor over here looking sad while all the blocks are on the ground. The chicken was the first to notice, and we see Chicken's head poking out the side over here. Cluck, cluck, what a shame. I'm so sorry this happened. Let's talk about it, cluck, cluck. But Taylor didn't feel like talking, so the chicken left, and we could see the chicken trying to get Taylor to talk about what is bothering them. Next came the bear, and we see Bear starting to lumber on to the side over here. Rawr, rawr, how horrible, I bet you feel so angry. Let's shout about it. Rawr. But Taylor didn't feel like shouting, so the bear left. And we can see the bear shouting and yelling and then leaving. The elephant knew just what to do. Trumpada, I can fix this. We just need to remember exactly the way things were. But Taylor didn't feel like remembering, so the elephant also left. And we could see the elephant trying to help Taylor remember before leaving. One by one they came. The hyena, let's laugh about it. The ostrich, let's hide and pretend it never happened. The kangaroo, tisk tisk, what a mess. Let's throw it all away. And the snake, shh, let's go knock down someone else's. And we could see the different animals trying to help. But Taylor didn't feel like doing anything with anybody, so eventually they all left until Taylor was alone. And we could see all the rest of the animals leaving, and Taylor is by himself now. In the quiet, Taylor didn't even notice the rabbit, but it moved closer and closer until Taylor could feel its warm body. And we could see this distance separating them, and then the rabbit eventually being right up against Taylor. Together, they sat in silence until Taylor said, "Please stay with me." The rabbit listened. The rabbit listened as Taylor talked. The rabbit listened as Taylor shouted. And we can see the two of them together here, Taylor talking to Rabbit and Taylor shouting. The rabbit listened as Taylor remembered and laughed. The rabbit listened to Taylor's plans to hide, to throw everything away, to ruin things for someone else. And we can see Rabbit constantly being by Taylor's side as he goes through the different stages. Through it all, the rabbit never left. And when the time was right, the rabbit listened to Taylor's plan to build again. "I can't wait," Taylor said. And we can see, again, the two of them continue to be together. It's going to be amazing. And we can see the outline of what they plan to do. And that is our message for all ages. I hope you enjoyed it. I will have it with me if you want to come up and take a look at it afterward. Like I said, I'm very much a proponent for kids' books for adults as well, so make sure you get a couple in your library.
Thank you, Pauline. Please join me in singing the children off to their RE class.
Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of us surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
As we enter into the central portion of our spiritual hour, I would like to welcome back our guest speaker, Pauline Nijander. She will begin with a reading, and then we will listen to the musical interlude titled Another Day in Paradise by Phil Collins, before hearing the sermon message titled Ministry of Presence.
For our reading today, I chose I guess a poem would probably be the best way to describe this, titled You Are Not Alone by the Reverend Jacquard Bell, and it comes from a book titled Glitter Blessed, Already Whole, Already Holy, Blessings for Queer and Trans Lives. And Sean Neil Barron is the editor. And again, it is titled You Are Not Alone. You are not alone, though the path ahead seems uncertain and cold, littered with discarded promises and fragments of dreams. Through the journey with all its twists and turns, bend in uncomfortable places of contention through the road paved hard, unforgiving and inflexible, hold you while you aim to root deep. You are not alone. There is no time where you will take a step and not have the shadow of all that makes you. You are not alone when the emptiness lingers a little longer. Each time settling in, it will move to make space for me. You are not alone. The choices you make while deceptively yours include more than you and me, and we are always going to be in the thick of it together. You are not alone. Let me hold your hand and brush your hair as you fight to rise and be free. You are not alone. It's easier if you are. There's no reason to try to swim against the current. It doesn't want to take you under. It just is what it is. And you are not alone.
Sir, can you help me? It's so cold and I've nowhere to sleep. Is there somewhere you can tell me? He walks on, doesn't look back. He pretends he can't hear her. Starts to whistle as it crosses the street. Seems embarrassed to be there. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. She calls out to the man in the street. He can see she's been crying. She's got blisters on the soles of her feet. She can't walk, but she's trying. You can tell by the lines on her face. You can see that she's been there. Probably been moved on from every place, 'cause she didn't fit in there. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Oh, think twice, 'cause it's another day for you and me in paradise. Just think about it.
There is a story that was recorded in Iceland during the 13th century, but the story itself was set during the early 12th century in Norway. And it is a story of one King Eystein who, unlike his brother King Sigurd, stayed in Norway. King Eystein built all sorts of things during his reign back home. an abbey, churches, trade centers, and even built a friendship up with both the people of his country and those beyond his country's borders. One such good friend was a bard from Iceland named Ivar. The king loved Ivar's music and merriment so much, he offered the bard a position in the king's court where he was paid very well. Ivar sent word to his brother Thorstein, telling him to come join him and ask the king for employment. Seeking to capitalize on the opportunity his older brother Ivar had presented, Thorstein immediately set sail to join his brother, except the king and his court were not interested in Thorstein's prowess as an excellent fighter. It just wasn't what the king was focused on. In what must have felt like an insult, everywhere Thorstein went, he was just Ivar's brother, and everyone touted how amazing of a bard Ivar was. Tired of being compared to his more successful brother, Thorstein departed for home, but before he departed, Ivar came to see him off and asked him to speak to Ivar's one true love back home and to tell her that Ivar would come for her that summer to ask for her hand in marriage. Thorstein agreed, and when he arrived back home, he kept his promise to go to Ivar's one true love, but instead of informing her of what Ivar had said, he himself had asked for her hand in marriage. Fearing that Ivar must have found someone else, Ivar's one true love reluctantly agreed, and the two were wed. Now eventually word of the wedding reached Ivar's ears, and a dark cloud descended upon him. He would no longer sing. He would no longer play his instrument. It was as if all the joy of life that Ivar had previously had just disappeared. Noticing that something had come over his friend, the king called Ivar to his side and said, "I can see that you are unhappy. Are you longing for adventure?" "No," mumbled Ivar. Now the king would go through the list of everything that he could think of what could be bothering his friend Ivar, and when he finally deduced that it must have something to do with a woman, the king offered many things, including his own seal on any proposal that Ivar made to any other woman. And when that failed, the king offered many things to take his mind off of this woman. Ivar turned everything down, but the king would not stop trying to help his friend. He finally said, "Then all I can think to offer is very humble. But if you would like, you are welcome to dine with me every evening and tell me about your one true love." "I should like that very much," replied Ivar. And every evening when the king had finished with the affairs of court, the two would get together for dinner, and Ivar talked about his one true love. He shared stories of growing up near her family, of Iceland, and the stories of the two of them together. And finally, little by little, Ivar's sorrow ebbed, and he was finally able to play and sing his music once again. In the fall of 2023 and into the spring of 2024, as part of my Master of Divinity program, I had the privilege to do a stint as a hospital chaplain at Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital in Hamilton, New Jersey. Now, for those of you that do not know what a hospital chaplain is or does, they move through the hospital to visit patient rooms and their families and to be just someone who can be present and just listen. When there were medical alerts called out when a patient's vital signs were dropping, we would be part of that response team in order to be there for any family or sometimes even the staff. We were to be that calming presence in the face of the chaos as the lives of families were upended by medical issues that affected more than just the patient. And that, I think, was the most important part of the job, that ministry of presence, of being there for another when their world seemed to be tumbling down around them. Not to offer an answer, nor to necessarily offer them a solution that will fix everything, but by being there and paying attention to what the individuals you were ministering to might need when the time was right. I recall rushing to the hospital one night while on call. I had arrived just a few minutes after the first members of the family did, and the patient had unfortunately already passed away. What does one say? What can one say in those moments? I introduced myself, offered my condolences, and maintained that presence like Rabbit did for Taylor in the children's book, The Rabbit Listened, and paid attention to what the family might have needed and giving them a space to feel heard, to shout, to remember, to hide, to laugh, to cry, to plan for what to do next. I know that I am someone that struggles sometimes with using certain words because of the connotations that can be attached to them, and it sometimes causes me to hesitate using those words when in fact they truly do represent what is being done. When we use the word ministry here, we are not just limiting it to people who are just hospital chaplains or ministers or priests. It is a ministry that is just as important for people outside of those professions to do as we attend to the needs of someone else by paying attention and being present in their lives. Day by day, the world itself is becoming an even scarier place as those who are at the margins of society continue to be targeted by those in political power in an effort to score cheap political points, despite solving none of the actual issues that exist. And chaos continues to be churned up as yet another war begins around the world, and many countless lives continue to be upended, while the values that we as Unitarian Universalists hold dear are trampled upon those with a callous disregard for others. It is here in these moments when the world looks like it's falling down around for others where the ministry of presence becomes important, because we are called upon, when we have the ability to do so, to be those chaplains responding to a medical alert for those that we have come to know, those that we have come to love, and sometimes even those that we don't know, because they are in need of someone to be there to help them shoulder the burdens of the chaos of the world. But what does the ministry of presence look like? We have examples from two different stories of what to do and what not to do when we engage in the ministry of presence, with the stories of King Eystein and with Taylor with the rabbit. Chicken arrived first on the scene when things became difficult for Taylor and tried to get him to talk, but he wasn't ready to talk. Bear arrived next, telling Taylor to shout and yell, but he wasn't ready to shout and yell. Elephant showed up after telling him and told him to remember, but Taylor wasn't ready to remember. And one by one, the animals came, pushing different solutions on to Taylor, each animal trying their best to make him happy and to help him fix his problem. You should be laughing. You should be pretending nothing happened. You should seek revenge. That isn't what the ministry of presence is. In the full version of Ivar's story from Ancient Stories from Modern Times by Faye Mogensen, King Eystein is in some ways no better in his approach in how he begins his interactions with Ivar. As king, he offers Ivar adventure, his own farm, a return trip back to Iceland, and then finally lands on the issue of love. So when the king continues to try and solve the problem by offering to take Ivar's mind off of things, by sending him on a journey across the world, he offers him a farm again, despite Ivar already saying no, and finally brought it back to women, offering to introduce the bard to many other women in the land. This, too, is not what the ministry of presence looks like. with each offer of some sort of solution to Ivar's problem, like Taylor. Ivar turned them all down because despite our desires to fix the issue for others, well, that is not what the ministry of presence is all about. Looking back at that overnight on call where I responded to the death of the patient, when I returned home, I did not sleep the rest of that night. All I did was replay the entire situation and interaction with the family and with the hospital staff over and over in my mind. Did I do enough? Should I have done more? I think in those moments when we are doing the ministry of presence, we too can feel somewhat helpless, like we should be doing something. And while well-intentioned and well-meaning, we can become like all of the animals or King Eystein, trying to offer up answers or solutions where none really exists at that time, because that is not what is needed right then and there. But Rabbit had it right in the story. Rabbit does not do anything flashy or showy, and nowhere in there does Rabbit wish they had done more. Rabbit does the hardest thing that we may all struggle with, being present and paying attention. Yes, Taylor eventually goes through and does all those things that the rest of the animals had offered up for him to do, but the first thing that Taylor says when he noticed Rabbit's presence is, "Please stay with me." And then Rabbit allowed Taylor to arrive at what he needed on his own time. King Eystein eventually mostly gets there as well by offering something that, in spite of all the riches that he owned, he calls it the most humblest thing that he could offer, his time and presence, so that Ivar could share his burden. And when he is able to, he is there for his friend so that his friend can share about the loss he had experienced in his life that had affected him so much. Both stories end on the note where both Ivar and Taylor do turn out okay, and they both begin to move forward from the events that had affected them so much. But what is important to note is that it was not just one night. It was not just one instance. The ministry of presence does ask that when we are able to, we be present for others more than just one time. But it is also a ministry where, unlike Rabbit and unlike King Eystein, one does not have to go it alone. Just as there are a team of chaplains at a hospital setting there to support the patients and the staff, the team of chaplains is also there to support each other. And that is something we should be utilizing whenever we are engaging in the ministry of presence, because that work is not easy and it can be emotionally exhausting. And just as we are there to help lighten the load of someone else, those of us who are engaging in the work need someone to help us out as we do that work. And once a person is ready and knows what they need, and they ask for what they need, perhaps it is a team of people that can come together to, maybe they need to cook meals for someone recovering from surgery. Perhaps it is a number of neighbors getting together to assist clearing heavy snow for someone in the neighborhood. Perhaps it is something as simple as offering to meet and share a meal and tea with someone who is struggling. Whatever way we engage the ministry of presence, know that the work that you do is important. It can sometimes go unappreciated. And while it is not the reason why we do so, it is rewarding. Be gentle with yourselves and be there for one another. Blessed be, and amen.
Thank you very much, Pauline. Our offertory recipient for our shared plate for the months of March and April is BCAT Nova Victim Services. The Bucks County Coalition Against Trafficking, BCAT, is a project of the National Organization for Victim Assistance, NOVA. BCAT's mission to eradicate human trafficking in Bucks County through victim identification, community education, enhancement of arrests, and prosecution of traffickers, legislative advocacy, and a coordinated response of survivor services. Please donate generously and give with your heart. You can donate directly to the offertory or online at uuflb.com. The offering is given and received with gratitude. Now is the time in our service when we recognize and lift up one another in love. Please come up to this microphone and share your joy or sorrow with love. Please be brief.
Good morning. My great joy this morning is wishing a member of this congregation a happy birthday. I have known this man for over a quarter century, and I've respected and admired him. He's been a mentor for me, as well as many other people in this congregation. And he's been a pillar of this community for a lot longer than a quarter of a century. So just wanted to wish a happy 80th birthday to Bill Stroop.
Don't even look 78. So I was going to back up Robin here today. On Wednesday morning, longtime member William Edwards passed away, 95 years old. Leaves a big hole in the family. Robin, her two brothers, Scott, John, and Mary Jane and Bill, been a fixture here over 50 years. And I was talking to some friends. It's weird for me because growing up, I come from a happy household. My dad lived in one continent, my mom in another. Most of the my friends came from if the parents were together, they were unhappy. Father was an alcoholic or abusive. I didn't really know anything like this until, meeting Robin and her parents. Mary Jane said, don't expect me to get over this soon. And, would she expect to be here another 75 years to get over it after being there 75 years? But please keep the family, in your thoughts. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you so much. Whether or not you shared today, for your joys, we in this community join you in celebration. And for your sorrows, may you feel our sympathy and compassion. As we reflect on these, let us sing Blessed Spirit of My Life.
Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me.
Please join me in a responsive reading. Ground of all being, in this room and beyond it, we are learning to see each other. Help us offer the gift of undivided presence to listen without planning or our reply.
Make space for stories that take time to unfold, to ask who is missing from here and why.
When we accompany those in pain, keep us from the tyranny of fixing.
Teach us to stay while the crisis passes by, to show up in the unglamorous middle.
May we become communities where every voice matters, where margins become centers, where attention itself is love made visible. Reverend Michelle Collins. I ask you to please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
Whether you are in this room or on this Zoom, please feel free to join in singing. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, and we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when we share the silence of sacred space, and the God of our heart stirs within, and we feel the power of each other's faith, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place.
We extinguish this flame, but not our focus. We quench this candle, but not our quests. To observe this splendid world, to witness each other, these we continue all the moments of our lives. Our service is concluded, and for those of you on Zoom, thank you for joining us today, and we hope to see you again next week. In the meantime, I would like to express our gratitude to Pauline Nijander, for the message this morning and invite her to linger after the service to greet those who'd like to share their individual thoughts and thanks. And we'd like to invite everyone here to join us in the cafeteria for coffee, fellowship, and conversation. And if you are interested, please join Nancy Harvin in the back of the cafeteria for a discussion of February's theme of resilience. Go now in peace. Amen, and blessed be.